Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Pallavi Rao Chaturvedi. I'm a parenting coach and an early learning expert. I'm the founder of a parenting company called Get Set Parent with Pallavi. These are my social media handles. You could follow me on them. And I discuss a ton of topics regarding raising children, being mindful about our journey with our children, conflict resolution, emotional development, and so much more. Today I thought we'll discuss a topic which is increasingly being spoken about around us, right? Growth mindset. This is something that has become a buzzword of sorts. And today I thought I'll share with you 7 strategies on how to develop growth mindset in children. We have somehow been hearing about this, that growth mindset is important for the success of the child. Growth mindset is important for allowing the child to realize his or her potential. So what is it? What is fixed mindset as opposed to it? Let's get into the whole deep discussion about this and understand that what is it that we can do to help our children. I want to start with a feeling check. Why don't you ask yourselves this question? I can learn new things, but I can't really change my basic traits or my intelligence. Do you strongly disagree, somewhat agree, and strongly agree? Where on this do you find yourself that you believe you can learn, but you can't really change your basic traits and intelligence? So depending on your answer, this is what you are. If you think that I can't really change my basic traits and you strongly disagree, means you have a growth mindset. You believe you can change your traits and your intelligence. And those of you who strongly agree that I can do additive changes, superficial changes, but I essentially am who I am, you would tend to have a fixed mindset, right? So we all know of the popular story of the tortoise and the hare, right? And the race that they ran. The hare says, I'm the best, I will win this race. So he has a fixed mindset. It is steeped with preconceived notions. He comes from a standpoint which is very rigid, and there's a certainty that he kind of assumes. That is called a fixed mindset. The growth mindset is, I will try my best to compete in this race. Trying my best also includes adapting to whatever situations may come my way. It allows me the space to strategize, to think, and the tortoise actually has a growth mindset, right? So this is one of the basic differences of fixed and growth. I am what I am, and I can be, and I can try, and I can transform, right? So let's look at this small case study of a typical classroom. The teacher says she has graded the maths assignment of these 2 kids, Samantha and Randall. So Samantha asks him, how did you do? And he says, oh God, I suck at math, I did so badly. So she says, that's not true. We can practice and we can do much better next time, and I'm always here to help you. And he says, I think I'm just over math and there's no hope, and this is done. So the way kids talk is actually a reflection of what parents have been saying around them, parents and teachers, which is basically their ecosystem. What is it that they're hearing? So let's look at what this little boy, Randall, has been probably hearing about his math performance. His parents and teachers are probably telling him, not everybody is good at math, just do your best. They're probably saying, that's okay, maybe maths is not one of your strengths. They're probably saying, don't worry, you will get it if you keep trying. So there is a sort of defeatist attitude that Randall is probably listening to at home. And what are Samantha's parents telling her? When you learn how to do a new kind of problem, it grows your math brain, right? We all have different places in our brains. So the way you talk to kids is you have a math brain, you have a science brain, you have a coloring brain, you have a skipping brain. The more you exercise your math brain, the more it will grow. If you catch yourself saying, I'm not a math person, just add the word yet to the end of the sentence. I'm going to come back to this key strategy. I'm not a math person yet, right? The feeling, that feeling of math being hard is the feeling of your brain growing. Every time you feel a struggle, you feel the stretch, you feel you're doing more than your, what your comfort zone permits. That is how the growth is actually happening. So this is how she is being conditioned at home, and that is what he is listening to, all right? Let us look at, the two girls, and let's see what is the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Fixed mindset believes talent is inborn, right? It's okay to believe that, but believing that talent can only be inborn is the problem. Growth mindset believes ability can be developed, right? All of us are probably not doing something today, right, that we didn't do yesterday. We are probably doing different things. And if we didn't try it, we would never be there. Fixed mindset people desire to be seen as perfect and talented. What the world thinks of them is very important to people with fixed mindset. They're all about perception. How is everybody looking at me? I want to be seen as perfect and talented. It is all about how they want to project their image, as opposed to a hungry learner who desires to learn and improve. People with growth mindsets don't worry so much about appearances as they are concerned with how innately they grow, how much they learn, all right? She avoids challenge, she embraces challenge. She gives up easily, she pushes through setbacks. I think today a lot of our children spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes on a puzzle and say, Mama, just tell me, or I really don't know how to do this anymore. How is it that we can change this attitude of giving up, of them avoiding anything which is not guaranteed a success, and still, labor through it? She sees effort as temporary. She believes her effort is most important. The belief in effort, the belief in the sweat, in the struggle, in the trying, that has to account for something. And that is what growth mindset actually talks about. She gets frustrated or ignores feedback or criticism. She takes feedback seriously as a way to improve upon herself. She feels threatened by other success. She's inspired and learns from other successes, right? So this is a very important set of differences, right, between a fixed and growth mindset. Let me read out what it leads to. It leads to a very emotional, these two girls are cheerleaders in this example, leads to a very emotional cheerleader who's constantly trying to regulate herself, change herself to the way others view her. This creates a rigid and difficult athlete that is limiting her potential, because somewhere she is stuck at her superficial aspects of her personality. She leads to, her mindset leads to a hardworking cheerleader that is constantly looking to better herself. This creates a calmer, more open-minded athlete that is coachable and can reach her full potential because she is open to receiving input, all right? So let's do a feeling check now. As a parent, do I believe I can make a lifelong mindset difference in my child, right? Today, everybody listening to this presentation is obviously here because you are looking for information. You're looking to see how can I bring this aspect in my child. So do you believe that you can make a difference? Yes, you can. Whether your child is a toddler, whether your child is a schoolgoer or a teenager, you can bring this difference. So let's look at 7 strategies on how to do it. The first strategy, work on the self-talk. You as the parent are not going to be with the child every time. If the child is in school, the child is in class, the child is playing with friends, you are not there at every point, right? So what you can do is arm them with self-talk. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, Can we get them to say, what am I missing? This is too hard. Instead of that, this may take time and effort, but I'm going to persevere. I give up, right? So instead of I give up, what can you say? I'll ask for extra help and keep trying. This is good enough. Is this my best work, right? Critiquing, questioning your work. Am I good with this? Can I do something better? I always make mistakes. Can be translated or transformed into mistakes are just proof that I'm trying. Plan A didn't work. It's a good thing there are 25 other alphabets, right? So the first thing is, how can we work on their self-talk? Self-talk is your innermost, most reliable armor that is there with us all the time. So giving them positive self-talk can do them a huge service. Enable them to develop their inner voice. Put posters up in their room. There are hundreds of posters available today. These are a few examples which talk about, you know, putting forward your best work, about reaching for success, about trying, about putting in effort, right? So put up a lot of posters about growth mindset. Strategy 2, right? Tell your kids that the brain is something which grows. It is like clay. The more you stretch it, the more you pull it, it actually grows. The brain can get stronger. Say this to your child over and over again so that they start believing it. Your brain, my dear parents, is a muscle. The more it is exercised, right? Athletes, I mean, why do you go to the gym? Because you work on your muscles, right? You work on building a lean muscle. You work on exercising to make it stronger. Your brain is also a muscle, right? Unfortunately, it's a neglected muscle. And what is the gym for your brain? It is challenges. It is exercising it. It is moving out of your comfort zone. That is the exercise for your brain. Play on activities that look, you know, on aspects that grow all around them. So look at everything that grows and try to analyze how is the growth happening, right? If there's a germination of a seed happening, the seed is pushing through so much soil to come out and blossom, right? You create posters, reminders, cards all around to remind you that the brain grows. Talk about neuroplasticity. My dear friends, neuroplasticity is exactly what I'm talking about, which is, you know, the stretchability of the brain to take whatever direction that you choose to give it. And read books and articles about the brain. You know, this organ that helps you throughout your life, this is something which is least understood by most of us. The brain is a muscle. When I exercise it, it gets stronger. And imagine your 3-year-old, 4-year-old believing this. When they believe in it, they actually know that the control is with them. I just need to work on that part of my brain which will make me dance better. I need to work on my singing brain a little more. So this belief is a massive boost of confidence for children. Talk about mistakes. I think very often we steep mistakes into shame, right? There is no shame in mistakes. In fact, I think celebrating mistakes is what growth mindset is all about. Bring mistakes into the conversation and let kids know it's okay, right? So talk about your mistakes growing up. We did so many things which we probably didn't want to, or we stumbled, we fell, but we made those mistakes. But it helped us grow. It helped give us 3 or 4 things we shouldn't do in future. And I think a lot of times it's very important for children to realize that my parents are not God. My parents also made mistakes. My parents also failed. And that really builds the connection between you and your child. Them knowing that you're as human as them. They don't feel ashamed to make those mistakes. Present challenges and problems as an opportunity, right? I think this is something, it is some sort of cliche, but it is very, very true that you look at a challenge and you try and see how can you circumvent that, how can you do something more meaningful to come out more successful at the other end. Let's look at these two, right? How a setback can propel growth. So the principal asks him, why are you in my office? He says, I overslept and came late. So he's telling himself, it's important for me to set my alarm and be on time. Allowing children to face the consequences of their actions is critical, right? So it's okay if they go late once in a while to school, if it helps them realize that they need to do this. It's okay if once in a while they forget 2 textbooks and they're punished in school. It will help them to be more particular about it, as opposed to us over-parenting and, making sure every book in the timetable is put in their bag. Allow for these mistakes to happen. This F is really going to affect my grade. I need to prepare more for the next test, right? So this is what we can arm our children with, because we are guaranteed to not all have 100% successes, right? It is impossible for us to assume that everything that we try, we are going to win in. Every race that we run, we're going to come first. Every test that we take, we're going to get 100 on 100. It is a guarantee that that is not going to happen. What we need to see is how can these mistakes not crush a child's inner spirit, right? Today, if you talk about how your, students in higher education and the top institutes go through so much pressure because they're not able to deal with it, right? You have suicide rates, you have anxieties, you have depression. Why is it? Because somewhere there's a lack of resilience or positive self-talk that we see, right? Strategy 4, encourage grit and persistence, right? There are countless examples of successful personalities who found success because of a growth mindset, grit and persistence. And I think, the famous iceberg theory is very, very important here. What we see of all of these successful people is that 20% of the floating iceberg, which is the success, which is the fame, which is the money, which is the, grooming, which is the public persona. But what we don't see is the hundreds of times they tried and they failed. What we don't see is their lack of support that they had, maybe money which they didn't have, maybe additional support that they didn't get, and the numerous ideas that they had to try repeatedly to, kind of get their success. And I think showing children the bulk of the iceberg that is submerged is very important, because, painting a rosy picture all the time is not something that our children want. We need to give them the truth, we need to give them the reality of it. So I think journal writing is a great way. Journals, posters, what are your goals for the year, right? You talk about academic goals, personal goals, how far can I go, something I want to work on, something I'm growing at, got it, grow it. So there are so many, templates that you can look for online as well, which talk about, tabling, your goals. And I think writing it down is a way to get it taken more seriously. Very, very important. Strategy 5, praise effort over results. Praise the effort and process, not the results. My dear parents, I think you will all agree with me when I say that the only thing we can guarantee is the hard work. The only thing we can guarantee is how much time we put into something, how much grit and perseverance we can put into something. Nobody in the world can guarantee success. Just because you put in 100% of your effort does not mean you will get 100% success. Look at your own lives, right? You think you've worked 100%, but sometimes you don't get that promotion. Sometimes you don't get that appraisal that you're looking for, because effort is not equal to success, right? And this feeling of being okay with it is important, as is our praising the effort. You put in fantastic effort. Let's hope for the best. But if you don't, that's all right too. That's very important. When we talk about, children feeling that they have disappointed their parents, they have let their parents down, it is because of this burden of expectations that somewhere we put onto them. So sometimes if you see your child preparing hard for a sports competition, for a dance competition, talk about, how much you appreciate that process, and don't overemphasize on the result, because there is luck. There are, so many reasons why a child may not succeed, which has nothing to do with the kind of effort they're putting in. Value taking on tough challenges more than we value easy success. There are things, and this is something that we can practice in our own lives as well. It's easy to do something that we have done 100 times. The learning comes from doing the one thing that we have never done, right? And that is something that we also teach our children. Experiment with something new, experiment with something different. What you already know. But remember, we spoke about neuroplasticity. Your brain will stretch every time you do something different. And appreciate. Instead of displaying only the finished student work, post work in progress or drafts, right? So yes, you want that beautiful masterpiece, but it's okay to also appreciate the work in progress. All of us are work in progress, isn't it? Are we the final, today I'm doing something I didn't even imagine I would be doing 10 years ago. But the point is, you make a beginning somewhere and you appreciate those small steps and you get to the end result of it. Create a rubric, a grading rubric focusing on effort or process in addition to outcomes. I think this whole slide is about appreciating the child for effort, for hard work, for blood, for sweat, for intent, right? Forget about the result for the time being. Recognition cards are important, right? So look at the way these cards are worded. You were kind to others. Nice job problem solving, right? The thrill the child gets when you say you've put in some creativity in solving the problem. You put your best foot forward. You tried even when it got hard. You never gave up. You worked hard. You kept a great attitude. So these are some cards that you can keep at home and recognize your child. Communicate expectations. A lot of the times, I think, the tussle between a parent and a child, or not achieving what we expect the child to achieve, is because the communication is not clear, right? You want your child to come first in class, but the child wants to come spend time in sports or music or something like that. And there is a communication mismatch, there is an expectations mismatch, and all of that. So get to know your child. I think you and your child need to be on the same page when it comes to expectation mapping. Post expectations around the room. It could be an expectation for a month. This month I would like you to finish your tables. This month I would like you to, practice, your musical instrument for, these many hours a day. Communicate your expectations so your child knows that if I do this, mom's going to be happy or dad's going to be happy with me. What usually happens is you have these expectations, the child doesn't know, and the child is wondering why you're angry, because you have not communicated what you expect out of the child and you have not worked together in the direction. Be clear in your directions, be involved, right? I think all processes with children, stem from being an involved parent. You be involved, be in charge. They need to know that you are there for them during the growing up years, taking authority. But give them space to learn and solve their problems, right? Again, we don't want to overparent, we don't want to step over too many boundaries, but we still want to make sure that you have set the boundaries and their creativity and their effort is their space. Sign an achievement contract. Let's work on this hard together and work towards this achievement, and we can treat ourselves to something. We can buy ourselves that particular game we have been working. So earning your rewards is something which comes out of this. And your seventh strategy, the final one, is brain breaks. Our brains get tired. When you are doing a particular kind of activity, you need to break it up and give your brain a break. Brain breaks are awesome to relieve frustration. When your kid is, studying for an hour, 2 hours, give adequate breaks. It can include playtime, recess, a nap, all of that's important. It's important to pre-plan brain breaks and set ground rules with your child, right? These are very, very important. You know, you could even for, you know, younger ones, you can even set a small alarm. In fact, even older children and professionals do that, set an alarm every 20, 25 minutes. Take a break, go have a cup of tea, go for a walk, you know, do some push-ups, do some deep breathing. All of this also helps in relaxing your brain. And this is my favorite. This is the bonus strategy, the power of yet. Teach your child to add the word yet at the end of every disappointing sentence that they are going to say. Let's look at it. I can't do this yet. I'm not good at this yet. I don't understand this yet. It doesn't work yet. This doesn't make sense yet. Yet actually signifies that there is hope to learn more. It is not a full stop. It's not I don't know this. It is I don't know this yet. That means when you do something, you will get to learn it. It is the power of a positive attitude, right? Yet is the journey between where you are and where you want to go, right? I hadn't recorded this video yet in the morning, but now by the end of it, I would have. And that journey is what keeps us all going every day, isn't it? So yet is a key tool of where you are and where you want to go. And it's a question of that time, effort, and willpower which will make this child reach the other end. Okay? So how do you incorporate this? I've shown you reward cards, recognition cards, posters. I'm also going to show you a set of books which are very good and you can, you know, which develop growth mindset. These are a few titles, you know, that kids from 2 to 4 can read. You can read it to them. 4 to 8 years, there are some other book suggestions. 5 to 12 years, right? So the important aspect is in remembering that at any age, you can begin to bring in the growth mindset into your children, right? So please don't think that, oh, my child's already 12, already 14. Of course, like everything else, starting there is much easier. Starting with younger children, developing, you know, mindsets that we want, habits that we want, everything is much easier here. Here, it's more challenging, but not impossible, right? So let's look at a 4-week plan that can help you achieve this. What you could do is, you know, chart out how you want to go about this for your child. First one, introduce it in week 1. What does it mean to grow? What is the growth mindset? What is fixed mindset? Talk to your children about it, right? If they know about it, they're going to be conscious. Week 2, notice it. Reflect on the definitions. Create some mandates on growth mindset statements. Put up the posters we talk about. You know, use those cards, read those books. So all of this is going into reinforcing the introduction that we did in week 1. Third, right? Model it. We as adults start saying those things, right? So we say, you know, I haven't been working out yet. I can start. I'm not happy with my fitness level today, but I know that in 3 months I can change that. You talk about how you have a whole mountain of work, you know, on your table, but you're going to do it one at a time. Talk to children about your personal challenges, about what you are trying to do, and you are the best example and role model that they can look at, right? So this is modeling it, and 4, practice it together. I think practice goes on week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You continue practicing it, and within a couple of months, this will become the language that you believe at home. This will become the mindset that the family has, that, you know, the kids and parents have together. So let's do another feeling check. Do I feel positive about bringing this change into my life and then my child, right? Do I think this is workable? All those who answered yes have understood growth mindset. It doesn't matter if you thought it was difficult. The fact that you said that I can bring this change into my life and hence benefit my child as well denotes growth mindset. So thank you so much. This was today's topic on understanding how we can practice a growth mindset and build it for our children. I'm going to get to my system and answer questions for you now, and look forward to interacting with you. So I hope you liked this session that I spoke to you about, which is about understanding growth mindset. Please do check out the other courses that I have as well, and look forward to staying in touch.